Good morning, students. Here Suresh Vishwakarma going to explain you that your physics chapter force and laws of motion. So, students, as we have read about the force in our previous classes, today we are going to discuss about the laws of motion, that is Newton's laws of motion. In this, we are going to study the first law of motion of Newton, afterwards second and third law of motion. So, as you all have read, that force is to push or to pull, मीन्स पुश करना और पुल करना ही फोर्स कहलाता है. फिर हम लोगों ने अपने प्रीवियस क्लासेस में इफेक्ट ऑफ फोर्सेस पढ़ा. आफ्टरवर्ड्स वी हैव रेड दैट टाइप्स ऑफ फोर्सेस दैट आर बैलेंस्ड एंड अनबैलेंस्ड फोर्सेस. So students, we are going to learn here the application of those types of forces through the Newton's laws of motion. So let us start to study the first law of motion. In this, while most people know what Newton's laws say, many people do not know what they mean or simply do not believe what they mean. Let us start the first law of motion. Newton's laws of motion. In this first law of motion, an object is at rest, will stay at rest. It means if any object is in rest position, that object always wants to be in rest position. वो हमेशा रुकी रहना चाहेगी until and unless we are not going to acted upon an unbalanced force. Afterwards, that an object is in motion will stay in motion at constant velocity unless acted upon an unbalanced force. So dear friends, आपको शायद इस फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन को एक्स क्लास में हमने एक्सप्लेन किया था दैट दिस लॉ इज ऑल्सो नोन एज inertia, or you can say this property of the object from which that object wants to be in rest position or wants to be in motion position until and unless any unbalanced force is acting on it, that law is called law of inertia also, or you can say Newton's first law of motion. So students, this inertia property is directly related to the mass of the object. ये मास और इनर्शिया में क्या डिफरेंस होगा, दैट वी विल डिस्कस आफ्टरवर्ड्स. बट दिस फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन, एन ऑब्जेक्ट एट रेस्ट विल स्टे एट रेस्ट एंड एन ऑब्जेक्ट इज इन मोशन विल स्टे इन मोशन एट कॉन्स्टेंट वेलोसिटी अनलेस एक्टेड अपॉन बाय एन अनबैलेंस्ड फोर्स, इज Newton's first law, or you can say the law of inertia also, because this property of the object is called inertia. तो बच्चों, शायद आप लोगों को इनर्शिया या फिर न्यूटन्स के फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन को अच्छी तरह समझ रहे होंगे. नाउ वी हैव टू कम ऑन द सेकेंड लॉ. सेकेंड लॉ इज, एज यू नो, दैट फोर्स इक्वल्स मास times acceleration, or you can say F is equals to m into a. That magnitude of any force is equals to mass of the object multiplied by the acceleration of the object. It means it is the product of the mass and acceleration. What? That is force. And you know that force is F is equals to ma. So the unit of force is measured, SI unit of force means force is measured in the unit Newton, or you can say this Newton is equals to that unit of mass multiplied by unit of acceleration, and unit of mass is kilogram and unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So dear students, second law of motion is also clear. Force equals mass times acceleration. F is equals to ma, right? So you can say the unit of force is kilogram meter per second square, or you can say directly write down Newton. Means this force is measured in Newton also. Okay, now we have to come on the third law of motion, means Newton's third law of motion. And this law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. किसी भी एक्शन में उसी के इक्वल और अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में रिएक्शन होता है. दोस्तों, जैसे हम लोग if we push that any of the object, it means that object is also pushing me that in equal amount of the force but in opposite direction. So this law, third law of Newton of motion, is also known as action and reaction law. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. For example, when we fired a bullet from a gun, जब हम बुलेट से किसी गन को फायर करते हैं, so bullet is moving forward, going in forward direction, but the gun is coming in opposite direction, in our direction. That is also follows Newton's third law of motion. Or you can say, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay friends, so let us move forward. That explanation of this first law of motion. This is also called law of inertia. An object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion at constant velocity until and unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. तो बच्चों, आप लोगों को बैलेंस और अनबैलेंस फोर्स को प्रीवियस क्लासेस में हम एक्सप्लेन कर चुके हैं. ठीक है, वहाँ उसको अच्छे से समझने के बाद ही आपको ये न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ समझ में आएगा. Afterwards, that inertia is the tendency of an object to resist changes in its velocity, whether in motion or in motionless. हमने क्या बताया अभी आपको कि inertia क्या है? Inertia is a property of the object, or it is tendency of an object to change, to resist in the change of its original position, or it means you can say it is in rest position or it is in motion position. Next, that once airborne, unless acted on by an unbalanced force, gravity and air fluid friction, it would never stop. Next example, that unless acted upon by an unbalanced force, this golf ball would sit on the tee forever. Why? Then we do observe everyday objects in motion slowing down and become motionless, seemingly without an outside force. It is a force we sometimes cannot see. Friction means friction is not visible, but there is a force working between the surface of two objects. That objects on earth, like the frictionless space the moon travels through, are under the influence of the friction. Means moons is also traveling, moons is also moving, but moving under the influence of friction. Right? Now what is friction? Friction is also a force. There is a four main types of friction: sliding friction, rolling friction, fluid friction, or static friction. Slide of a book across a table and watch it slide to rest position. The book comes to the rest because of the presence of force, that force being the force of friction, which brings the book to a rest position. In the absence of force of friction, the book would continue in motion with the same speed and direction forever, or at least to be the end of the tabletop. Newton's first law of motion, and we don't let this be you. Wear skate belt. Because of inertia, objects including you resist the change of their motion. When the car going to 80 km per hour is stopped by the brake wall, your body keeps moving at 80 km per hour in the forward direction, and you will fall out of the car, means in the direction of the wall. So this is because of inertia, that when a car strikes with the wall with this speed, So car will stop, but your body will not stop. Why? Because your body is in motion with the car, and you will be in motion, so that you will be fall down out of the car. Now let us move on the Newton's second law of motion, friends. So we'll be in the next classes. Thank you.